one thing that has been interesting that's popped up in my Instagram ads quite a bit is SHILAJIT.
Because she's legit, boy.
I looked it up on Examine, and there's minor effects in quite a bit of ways. And it's not very well studied, frankly. But based on what I think, one, from your experience with being able to lower your SHBG, and also just the interaction with all these minerals and trace minerals, I believe it is something that could help lower SHBG in people or normalize it even. And there's not too much studies that look like they're looking at SHBG. They do look at testosterone, total and free and such. But I think SHBG might be what it actually helps a lot with. And I want to give it a try. I mean, I've seen you just take the little thing and put it like in your mouth and stuff and lick it off that stick thing. But
The way to say it, yeah. That's
the ads that I've seen, they have it on like a metal measuring little thing, and they put it on the rim of their like teacup, and then you see it like cascade down, and it looks pretty nifty. Like it looks
the
like
tar,
something off TikTok.
the resin.
Yeah.
It's cool resin. I used to take the resin as well, mixed with honey. It's got a very tar-like taste to it.
I like tar.
I take the pills now. I like these. I take more of a. It's more of a dose, but you got to make sure you watch out for heavy metals because Shilajit's one of those things that is few and far between. You got to really find the good quality stuff because it's so easy to find in nature. It's just old. It's
mountain blood.
Mountain blood, ancient vegetation, and extinct, whatever. Just all kinds of really old resins from decomposed plants and other minerals that have just been there for thousands of years that we don't get in our system anymore. So that's the cool part about it, is that the Shilajit is these amazing minerals that we haven't had access to because of our food system, and they are preserved, luckily, by just the process of time and thousands of years ago, and these different minerals and these different vegetables and whatever was growing there just decomposes and turns into this tar-like resin that we get so many. I think there's like 80 something trace minerals in Shilajit.
Yeah,
but it's all these things that we have no access to, and that's why it's minimal, because it's not going to change your life. It's not going to be like that. Well, I don't want to say that because some people really need those minerals, but
some people
it's not going to be a magic pill. It's not going to be a magic pill, but it's got so many things. You cover so many bases. That's why I say people all these days, they talk about their multivitamins. I'm like, just take Shilajit or Shilajit or Shilajit.
Yeah. I mean, I got a bottle of trace minerals and it tastes pretty bad. So I think it could be a good option for some people.
And a lot of it's synthetic.
But
a lot of the stuff you get is synthetic. True. And Shilajit's just decomposed minerals, materials. Yeah.
Let me
super profound stuff, and it helps when you take it with something. It helps bring out the value of something. It's called a potentiator in the traditional medicine terms. It's a potentiator, so it helps with making something you're taking even more powerful.
Okay, so
I think that's just because your body can absorb it better.
Sharing my screen a little bit because there's this study I found, and the study is called Clinical Evaluation of Purified Shilajit on Testosterone Levels in Healthy Volunteers. And the name on this is Pandit, Pandit. And this one, what they looked at and what the article that I had skimmed through doesn't necessarily say it lowers SHBG, but it said that it lowers the action of SHBG. What they said is, of course, total and free had significant increases, and these are the experimental group. The PS is the purified Shilajit, and then placebo. Let me make sure I'm sharing it right. Yeah, placebo's right there. This is in 90 days. And for me, if there's one thing I learned about SHBG, it's that it takes a long ass time to normalize. So imagine like a year or 6 months on something like Shilajit. So their baseline, they started off at 4.8 0.84 nanograms per milliliter, which deciliter would be 484 nanograms. And at the end of the 90 days, the SHILAJIT group went up to 583, which is pretty decent. I mean, that's just the total testosterone. And then we'll compare the baseline for the placebo group. They actually started at where the SHILAJIT group ended. So their baseline was 582 nanograms per deciliter, and they went down to 445 nanograms per deciliter. So it's all kind of within range in the total testosterone. But what we're seeing here, the free testosterone for the SHILAJIT group was 15.36 picograms per milliliter. It went up to 18.3. And the placebo actually had a pretty high free testosterone already. Started off at 19.3, went to 12.21.
Whoa, why did it go down so much?
Right.
What did they take? They're still sugar pills, man.
I
They'll
think,
take your tea.
You know, what I really would have liked to see in this was actually getting baselines for people and then separating the control and the, you know, experimental group based on as close to the like baselines as you could get. That would really have helped not change the data to be so muddled, because this, as I'm looking at the data now from the article that sent me there, I'm like, this is not that great of a result or study. And I'm not seeing how it's actually improving much of anything. It looks like the significant thing here, the baseline for their DHEAs in the SHILAJIT group was 145, and it went up to 190, which is pretty significant in 90 days. And then the placebo basically stayed the same. It went from 139.6 and ended at 138.7 at the end of the 90 days.
Yeah, I take it for minerals. I don't take it because I'm like, oh, I need to get my T levels up. I take it because it just, the micronutrients of it just gets all my bases covered. Yeah. But I do find it to be one of those things that is easy to come by, very popular, getting popular, and it's all SHILAJIT is different. So I'm really picky about which ones I go with, because a lot of it can just be high in heavy metals and iron and things you don't need.
What's the brand that you had recommended?
I use the two brands that I would go with if I were to take SHILAJIT. One of them is the Lost Empire Herb SHILAJIT resin, not the powder, but the resin is what I would take. I've never actually had it before, but I would. It's always sold out. It's very popular. And the other is by a company called MitoLife. That's the one I currently take now, and that one comes in pill form. And that one lasts me a really long time. So,
yeah, looks like this MitoLife, they actually have a YouTube video here about the heavy metal results to dispel the myth.
I saw that.
So that's
a big one. They're very, looking at the lab test is very important too. And they talk about the studies of it, but
yeah, $50 for the MitoLife, and then let's see, the Lost Empire, it's $59, and it is in stock currently,
which is rare. I just saw that. I was like, should I try this? Should I get this now and give it a try? But I have a ton of the other ones, so I don't need it right now, but who knows when they'll be back in stock. Always wanted to try it.
Yeah, it looks like when I'm doing a search find on Lost Empire, it says nothing about SHBG. So, I mean, I think that's one of the things I like about Lost Empire is the information they have on each of the herbs will help people understand more. So, I'm looking at some of the reviews on the MitoLife, and it's just cringe to my dismay at this point, because so many people are like, oh, I haven't felt anything. Maybe it takes a few months. Haven't felt any different. It's like, okay, like, do you know why you're taking this? Are you actually taking blood work to see how you're optimizing yourself, or are you just literally going by feeling?
People really want to feel different and see a change in their blood work too.